Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Earlier this week, Claire Tippins shared a princess nickname generator, 3 pictures of her dog wearing a tutu, and 2 online quizzes, including what candy is your dream castle made of? Claire, your sharing has tipped the sugar scale and turned into oversharing. But have no fear, princess. Geico has something worth sharing with your internet kingdom, like how you could save hundreds on your car insurance just by visiting geico.com. No magic wand required. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Blog Talk Radio.
Live from Fort Bragg's backyard, this is the show that put the 110 Nation on the map. There is only one nation, the 110 Nation, and you're listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show, covering each and every sport across the board. There is no sport too large or too little. It's time to talk the talk. Here we go. Here's the man, the founder, and your host, Mr. CJ Sports.
I want to welcome everybody to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. You can follow me at CJ Sports 1. You can follow the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation fan page, 110 Nation Sports. Also, check out our blog site over at www.the110nationsports.com. Check out our company site, www.the110nation.com, for all the latest going on here at the 110 Nation. Glad to be here on this Tuesday night. What used to be, unfortunately used to be. How well that's said with me, used to be. But used to be, I tell you what, this daggone computer desk chair is about the most aggravating thing. It just likes to fall on its own. It's really inconvenient. There we go. Now we're back up to where we need to be. What used to be the number one night here at the 110 Nation, I'll tell you what, Sundays is definitely taken over as the number one night. We were trying hard to put Tuesday back on the map. And once again, we feel that we're not going to, what's that word I'm looking for? Disappoint is the word I'm looking for. As we got some great guests joining us tonight. At 9:30, we got Mason Mitchell, owner of Mason Mitchell Motorsports, joining us to talk about Cole Powell, Gus Dean, Triple M, 2016 season goals, just whatever we get into and for that 30-minute block. Then we'll be joined by Jake Jr. We've had him on the show as well before, part of the Drive for Diversity program, talented driver as well. Looking forward to seeing what his 2016 is looking like. And then, of course, to wrap things up tonight, we have Izzo joining us to talk NHL, and there's a lot to be talked about. So looking forward to talking to all three of these guests tonight. Got messages coming in as we're finalizing that thing's finalized. And one, we had to finalize everything with Seek to Destroy Cancer. For anybody that's not been paying attention on our Facebook page or been to our company site, that's why it's important that you guys follow us and check out what's going on the company site. We're sponsoring. We're one of the sponsors of the Seek to Destroy Cancer. They have a real big wrestling event coming up March 19th here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It just so happened that they happen to be putting on this event right here in our hometown. Well, the town that I live in. First of all, I'm not going to call it my hometown, but the town that I happen to be living in. And so we went ahead and joined forces with them, and we're helped sponsoring part of that. We're actually going to have Tim Lathan, the guy that headed it up, and some of the wrestlers that are going to be part of this event on the show Monday night. So we're going to have them joining us about 9:10. So looking forward to having that happen. Then also, I just got done emailing More Than Just Me, and of course we've had Tommy Danger, who I met at Bristol, who I had the luxury of meeting at Bristol Motor Speedway. He was the PR guy for 3M before he went all in on his foundation, and we're working on finalizing sponsorship to that as well. You got people out there that, oh my God, tax money comes in, and we're going to go buy this, and we're going to go buy that, and we're going to go out to eat, and and then of course the rest of the year, oh God, we're so broke with and the economy, and oh please Obama, hand us out some more handouts and everything else, and oh please let Bertie, whatever the hell his ignorant name is, that because he's all about some handouts and even more handouts. Instead of, using the money wisely and, at my household, this is the way I've been for years, and, of course, the way we are this year, first and foremost, we needed to get a bigger vehicle with the kids and everything. So I'm going to drop $3,000-$4,000 in a nice used sports utility, mid-size kind of thing, and then, of course, work on getting my truck back up. Then the rest of the money is going towards bills and these two charity events. We're dropping a nice little penny in charity events for the 110 Nation. $600. I know it's not a lot, but it's a nice little penny, especially when that's about what we make in a week combined. And hopefully Shorty, gets his new job, which will double her income and almost make it where I didn't have to work if I didn't really want to. But I'm not going to do that because we're still ways away from me walking away and making 110 my full-time occupation. But so now that some of the taxes that have come in, her taxes, I still haven't done mine. I'm just now getting everything together. We went ahead and got everything finalized so we can get the into the sponsorship. So Seek to Destroy Cancer event March 19th. The More Than Just Me, More Than Just Miles 5K event is not actually until April, but we want to go ahead and get everything locked in and make sure that we're able to. April 16th is their event down in Florida. So we want to make sure that we are locked in and that we've got our money set and everything so that there's no bumps in the road or anything, and we're able to make sure that we got everything and money doesn't get spent before that stuff comes around. So we went ahead and locked that in real quick. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to being part. I'm going to actually be at the Seek to Destroy Cancer, and we're going to post more information about that on Facebook. Of course, the More Than Just Miles, we won't actually be able to be there for the event. It being all the way down in Florida, but just thankful that we're able to contribute. I'm part of a lot of different groups, and one of them is I'm part of the Chive, and if you know what that is, then I don't even need to explain anything. For those that don't, needless to say, they do a lot of charity work and a lot of foundation raising money, and just a great group of people trying to help other people. And I didn't, this is something obviously we've been doing for a long time, but it's something that we take great pride here at the 110 Nation. We love being able to help different foundations and different charities, and we love being able to do everything we can to help those out there that need the help. And so looking forward to being a part of one event, but be able to help sponsor 2 events. And I know everybody here at the 110 Nation is very excited about that. I'll tell you what, I've had a lot of people being here in North Carolina. I've had a lot of people kind of be a little upset because of I wouldn't support hometown team. And you got to understand something here. Just because the military had brought me down here in 90, I think about 97 was when I finally got here. I joined the military in October of 96. I left actually Halloween night. And, of course, by the time basic training was over with, it was already in 97. By the time AIT, so I want to say it was spring, early summer of 97 when I got here. I was here for like not even 3 months, I think a couple months. And then I got shipped overseas to Bosnia, Hungary, Croatia. I was there for a year, then came back and spent from the latter part of 98, I think one thing was August, September, until I got out in October of 2000 here in North Carolina. And, of course, obviously I stayed. Of course, I stayed down here. But just because the military brought me down here does not make it my hometown team or my hometown anything. It's for all those out there that know me that want to be upset and message me. And want to comment and be all upset because I did not poll for Carolina Panthers. Let me make something very, very, very clear to you. I am not originally from the state of North Carolina, which anybody that knows me knows that I'm not from the state of North Carolina. And therefore, I already have a hometown team. I already have it. I'm not a bandwagon person. I don't care where I live and how long I live somewhere. My first 18 years of my life was spent in the great state of Ohio. Therefore, I represent the orange and brown. I am a Cleveland Browns fan through and through. So therefore, I have no hometown loyalty to no other team. Therefore, and anybody who's listened to my show long enough, they know I only have one team. I do not like the other 31 teams. There is one team only. And like I said on the show, and like I told anybody, honestly, I thought that the Carolina Panthers were going to win. Did I want to see them win? No. Did I pray that they would lose? Yes. I'm sorry, but I have a serious issue knowing that someone like Cam Newton has been rewarded and blessed with all this money, all this sponsorship, all these endorsement deals, knowing that he did it fraudulently. And not that I hate the guy, I'm never going to cheer for him. I'm sorry, but if you got kicked out of the University of Florida because you were stealing and you were cheating, then you go to some little no-name college, and so to protect your name, and of course Auburn needed a quarterback. Auburn pays to play, and I understand it happens everywhere, but that's still not as outside the rules. And then you turn around, the first time you make it to the Super Bowl, instead of making it about the team and everything you guys accomplished and the adversity and everything you overcame, instead you talk about race and making it all about Cam Newton. And I'm sorry, I just have a big issue with it all. Of course, I also have a big issue with the fact that you threw yourself on the floor and threw a little tantrum like you were 5 years old on the sideline. I have an issue with that, too. I don't have an issue with the whole media thing because, honestly, honestly, I have no problem with if I was in the same shoe and I just lost and you're putting a mic in front of my face right after I just lost after the whole season, I'd probably be the same way too. I have no problem with that. And I've had my mother say I'm a sore loser. And I'm in the exact same boat he is with that whole comment as well. I used to tell people all the time that if you enjoy losing, you're always going to be a loser. Look at the Atlanta Braves. I can remember walking to elementary school, and I would look at the sports section, and I would see the Atlanta Braves was 100 losses. Not 100 wins, 100 losses in last place, one of the worst teams ever. You think that they enjoy losing? No. Then all of a sudden they turned that around because they didn't like losing, and all of a sudden they just swept and constantly either which the World Series was at least in the playoffs. Sorry, but if you like losing, you're going to always be a loser. And I agree with him. I have nothing against him being a sore loser because I am a sore loser. I do not want to lose. I don't care what it is. I don't really like to lose. I lost in the last play of the game in Tecmo Bowl and put my foot through the wall when I was in middle school. I do not like to lose. And I agree with him. If you like to lose, you're always going to lose. You're not a sore loser. You're just going to be a loser. That is it. They put the smile on your face. If it's just a game, if you're amongst those people that, participation trophy, not everybody should get a trophy. If you lose, you shouldn't get nothing. I'm sorry, but sometimes these little kids' hearts need to be broken because you shouldn't be rewarded for being garbage. I'm sorry. If your kid is garbage, then just get over it. Teach him how to play a sport. If sports is not his thing, teach him how to do something that benefits him. I don't care if it's a spelling bee. I don't care if it's whatever it is that he or she excels in. And find out whatever he or she excels in and have them put their attention, their focus, or whatever in that. I'm sorry, but the whole participation trophy is a big crock of garbage, and that's why America it's become the toughest country and the toughest nation in the world. It's because of garbage like that. That same garbage that don't leave no kid behind. Well, if your kid's an idiot, your kid's an idiot. I'm sorry, and I help raise 3 kids that are not mine, and I have one of my own. And look, if they are behind, my son was behind. He was behind in reading. Now, we didn't expect the whole grade to be held back because my son did not want to read in front of everybody else and was not reading. Funny thing is, we worked on it. Well, I'm going to step back for a second. I'm not going to take credit on this one. The mother, his mother, took care of that. Got him to read. As a matter of fact, awards were handed out this year. This was last year that he was behind. This year, when awards were handed out, yeah, he got an award for reading because we worked on it. Well, they worked on it. I'm not around them enough, and I don't like reading anyway. I will read. I know how to read. I just don't like to do it. But we worked on it. We didn't feel that everybody in his grade should be left there, put on hold, so my son could get up to par. That's what homework's for. That is what time after class is for. That is what you should be doing instead of your kids be playing video games and on Facebook and chatting and all this other stupid stuff that they do. But anyway, I have no problem with him being a sore loser. I have no problem with him walking out on the media. I have a problem with him acting like a 5-year-old on the sideline. I have a problem with him cheating and stealing. I have a problem with him violating NCAA rules. And I also have a problem with the fact that the NCAA kind of sweeps everything that happens in the SEC underneath the rug. When it's any other conference, heaven forbid, that they're going to do their research. Just like with the whole Johnny Manziel and signing autographs and getting paid for that. And they kind of swept that underneath the rug. See how well that worked out. He thinks he's above the rules and can do whatever he wants and see where it got him. He was going to get Atlanta in jail for beating his damn girlfriend and busting her eardrum. And I hope somebody makes him their personal BIP. You know what I'm saying, in jail too. But anyway, back to the subject at hand here. For all those that want to get on my back, because I did not pull for the Carolina Panthers to have some hometown pride. This is not my hometown. This is my current residency. This is currently where I reside. I never once claimed North Carolina to be my hometown, where I was raised, where I was born, or anything to the such. I am not a Charlotte Hornets fan. I am not a Carolina Hurricane fan. I am not a Carolina Panthers fan. And we all sure the hell know I'm not a UNC fan or a Duke fan. I cheer for real teams. I cheer for real colleges. I am an Ohio State Buckeye. I am a Cleveland Cavalier. I am a Cleveland Brown, and I'm a Cleveland Indian. And I will cheer for the Columbus. So for all those that want to get on my back about cheering for their hometown and have hometown pride, I do. I exemplify the definition of hometown pride. My team has only had a above 500 record 3 times since 1990. And yet I still bleed orange and brown. If that is not hometown pride, not like the rest of these I've seen one person in the last 2 days wear Carolina anything. Hometown pride? Are you kidding me? I wear my Cleveland Brown stuff on a regular basis, 3 seasons with above 500 record since 1990. 26 years. 3 times. That's it. Still, I wear my stuff loud and proud because I have hometown pride. Here we are 2 days removed from the Super Bowl. I have seen one person in Carolina Panthers anything. And these people want to send me messages and comment on Facebook comments and Twitter and everything else about hometown pride. Are you kidding me? Are you? Well, once you realize at halftime that your team was garbage and was not going to beat the Denver Broncos defense, then once you realize your team was not going to win the Super Bowl, all of a sudden everybody started putting that stuff up. All those ex-Seattle Seahawks bandwagon fans that jumped over onto the Carolina bandwagon, they're clueless what to do right now. Oh, God, we jumped on that Seattle bandwagon. They won a Super Bowl. And then the next year they lost to the Patriots. Hold on, Carolina. Oh, we got a team to jump onto. Oh, hold on, they lost. Now what do we do? Now they're running around here not knowing what to wear right now until the new season starts. So that's kind of why we don't really see anybody in Carolina Panthers stuff, because they once was formerly Seattle Seahawks fans that jumped on that bandwagon, that shifted over to the Carolina bandwagon. Now they don't know what to do. Now they're all kinds of confused at this point. Don't come running to me. To come running to me. Preaching to me about hometown pride. When I wear my Cleveland Brown stuff on a regular basis, when I have a Cleveland Browns tattoo on my forearm that everybody gets to see, for a team that has been above 500 3 times in the last 26 years, when I have been out in public for 2 days now, and I have seen one person still wearing Carolina Panthers stuff. Don't come at me with that. I have hometown pride. I am not a bandwagon guy. I stay true to my team. Each sport, I have one team. I had a guy come in today talking about, I have 10 teams. You don't have nothing. You just root on the team that's doing good. That's all that's about. I'm a Dallas fan. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm a Denver fan. You ain't nothing. You just want to be part of the cool crowd when that team is doing good. When that team ain't doing good, then you ain't part of that group no more. I have one team out of 32 teams in the NFL. That is the Cleveland Browns. I dislike every other team. I do my job to the fullest here, and I do it as close to unbiased as I possibly can do. If it's something that is towards somebody such like Cam Newton, it is not towards the Carolina Panthers. told everybody I was hopefully the Carolina Panthers were going to win. Now, until Cam Newton does something to prove me otherwise, I just don't like the guy because of the shadiness he has done before. Carolina Panthers fans, they try to pull a quick one. You remember earlier in the year? Oh, Cam Newton, he gets fined like $5,000 every time he hands the ball. He was given like $11,000 or whatever the ridiculous amount that they try to come up with, trying to make it seem like Cam Newton was just donating all this money because he was giving the balls out and he was getting fined. That's not even true. You have to throw the ball into the stands, and that's when you get fined. If you just hand it to a fan, there is no fine. But Carolina fans, you can't tell them nothing. They blew that up into some big story that was not even true, and then it had to be disproved, and you had a gazillion people out there with rebuttals because they had no idea what they were talking about because they were trying to build up somebody when their information was false. I have one team out of 30 teams in the NBA. That is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I have one team in the MLB, and that's Cleveland Indians. I don't have multiple teams. Yes, I would cheer for some teams over another when it comes to football pools, draft picks, or scenarios that I need to happen so my team's going to advance farther. But never will I claim another team, nor will I wear any other team's merchandise. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. But to get these messages and to see these comments about have some hometown pride, are you kidding me? The last time I went out and actually wear regular clothes because I hardly go anywhere, and if I'm out, usually I'm in my work clothes and that's it, I was in the Cleveland Browns jersey. Like I said, I've been out. I spent 10 hours at work, 9 hours at work today. I manage a gas station. I see hundreds, thousands of people a day. One person in 2 days with Carolina Panthers stuff on. Yet people want to come to me about some hometown pride. Kill me, people. You are killing me. Killing me. Makes absolutely, positively no sense to me. How people have the audacity to come with me when I am all about some hometown pride. Just because I don't have to be from your home does not mean I don't have hometown pride. You can't pick and choose and tell me about hometown pride, but when it's not your team, you get upset about it because I do exemplify in hometown pride. Just because I relocated because of the military does not change my hometown pride. I was born at St. Elizabeth in Dayton, Ohio, St. Elizabeth Hospital. Grew up in the city, it was little back in the day, now it's a real big city, of Heber Heights. Same school, same cities that Braxton Miller of Ohio State went to and lived in. Military transferred me. Still have hometown pride, people. Just because it's not the team you want me to cheer for does not mean nothing. So the comments, the questions, the text messages, the Facebook messages, all those can stop. Right there. I have hometown pride. It is the Cleveland Browns. It is the Cleveland Indians. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is the Ohio State Buckeyes. That right there that should tell you everything right there. There is a reason why we are the 110 Nation, because of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yes, that's why the was so important when I LLC'd this company, because of my hometown pride. The Ohio State Buckeyes, the 110 Nation. That right there should be an open shut argument that should end all the comments, messages, and everything else coming my way. I just want to put it because there seems to be some big confusion here where Mr. CJ Sports loyalty and hometown pride stands. I am loud and proud of my hometown pride. Just like I said, just because it's not your team and not who you want me to cheer for does not mean I don't have hometown pride. I was born in Ohio. I lived there until I was an adult. That is my hometown, and that is where my pride is at. So But anyway, we got three phenomenal guests joining us tonight, and the first one is already in the studio. We've had and how is this? My phone. I got to update this computer because somehow I have the same number twice called in, and so okay. I'm going to try to figure this out, Mason, because somehow you've managed to call me in twice here, and from the same number. I've never seen the same number twice in my studio. But anyway, we've had Mason Mitchell on the show 3 times, and they have all turned out very well for him. And I'm hoping not to jinx this, but following each of his visits has ended up in a championship, a win, and a win. And so we're hoping that this weekend it also turns into a win. But without any further delay, and I'm going to take the first one. Hopefully he's on. I don't know if he hung up one or how this worked. So bear with me in a second because we might have to double do this. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get Mason on the show. How are you doing tonight, Mason? And that's what that was. Let's X that one out, and let's try this again. All right, now let's try this one. How are you doing tonight, Mason?
Fantastic. You guys got me?
Yeah, there we go. You must have recalled in or something because I had your number in my studio twice or something. So
for some reason I was online and then the phone connection lost there. But I'm glad to be back on the show, and that's a pretty interesting stat you just named off there. And hopefully we can win a big one at Daytona. That'd be huge for our organization and our driver too.
Oh, it most definitely will. I joked with Tim last week, and I think I mentioned the last time he was on. When you came on the first time, all you had to do, I think, was pretty much start the car and win your championship. And then, of course, he was on right before Iowa, and he was on right before Kansas. And so I like to joke at that. We're kind of the good luck charm for you. So hopefully that holds true this weekend. Before we jump into this, though, we'll do the same thing that I do every time with you. We'll give you an opportunity to plug your team, website, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to throw out there, sponsorships, anything you want to throw out there real quick.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, really want to thank Dusty, the carriers, everybody that's supporting the program for the 98 team this weekend at Daytona. You guys did a really great job for us at the test a few weeks ago and in December. And, we were really fast there. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4 top spots the whole weekend, which was an amazing accomplishment for our organization. And Gus is really excited about this weekend, first time at Daytona. And it's a really solid piece that the guys at the shop have prepared for him. It's a car that I've ran in the past year and had a lot of success and ran up front with. So really excited. We've done some more fluffing and buffing and try to make it just a little bit faster so we can pull the W out. And then also like to say huge thank you to Cole Powell, Tri-Car, Cops, everybody that makes the opportunity possible for the 78 car this weekend. The deal kind of came together later than was expected there, but we made it happen. The car was already prepared. It ran at the test and was really fast, just along with Gus's. And it's a new car for us, so we're really excited how it came out. It's had a good track record in the past from the people we got it from, and I'm just real happy to have 2 solid pieces coming here to Daytona that I feel honestly can run up front and have a chance to win. Just going to be depending on how the draft plays out. So we'll see how that goes. But everybody's put in a lot of long hours. We've been ahead of the game so far on time-wise, schedule-wise. Got it loaded early, came down to Daytona early, and just trying to be on the A game and ready for Saturday night. And just everybody's put a lot of effort in, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
Now, for those that are either new to the show or new to Mason Mitchell Motorsports, Mason is barely 21 years old. Has already got a championship underneath his belt. Last year, fielded 2 cars. There at the last race of the season, they fielded 3 cars, and is kind of looking to do the same thing plus more this year. And let me remind you, at a ripe age of 21, it really blows my mind how much he's accomplished, and everything that I've heard, outside of just having him on the show just blows my mind. How confident are you guys feeling coming in this weekend? I know that you were the top dog in testing, and I know that Gus was up there the second fastest, and if I'm not mistaken, you guys had like the top 4 cars or something. How confident does that make you feel, knowing from the test results how strong your cars are going into this race?
Well, it definitely adds confidence for our team. I think most importantly, it adds confidence for our drivers. They know they're in fast race cars, and they have experience from the test sessions, and Cole has experience from being here in the past, how to get around this racetrack. We definitely aren't being cocky here at all or anything. I mean, I took it out of there. We obviously were the fastest ones there, but we just worked the draft really well. Our cars performed like we wanted to. We did a lot of hard work over the off season, making these cars better and working on them. So that paid off, and then we tried to go back and do some more work to them. So we're confident headed into here, but we're not gonna be too cocky. We're not gonna get off our A game at all, and we're just gonna have some fun. And Daytona and Talladega are the 2 biggest tracks you can't control anything. So just got to rely on our drivers doing a good job, the whole crew, all of us doing a good job all week with tech inspection, making sure the cars repair all the time, any adjustments you got to make through practice. And most importantly, I don't think it's stressed enough with all the media and television, but the pit stop, if it's a 1 or 2 pit stop race, is so that's probably the most stressful part of the whole weekend if you got to plan your strategy right, because track position is pretty key. Obviously, it is a draft. You can work your way from the back to front. Like last year, I think we started 28th or something like that. Just unfortunate, got in a poor qualifying group and wasn't able to perform well. But went 28th, and we were up in the top 3 the second half of the race. So I'm confident both our race cars can go back to the front. I hope we start up front and stay up there. So, but pit road is going to be a huge. I wouldn't say make or break, but definitely it's going to help you if you have a good pit stop.
Now, you kind of answered this, but I kind of want to ask it anyway, and maybe go a little bit more in depth into it. I know we watch certain drivers like Dale Jr. likes to be out front at Daytona, and then you got Michael Waltrip who likes to try to run towards the back. I think Tony Stewart used to run in the back, and maybe even Clint Boyer trying to avoid, from the back end of it. One, as an owner, would you prefer your guys to be out front so that they can potentially miss any big ones, or would you prefer them to be out towards the back? And then also, as a driver yourself, knowing, being in the car yourself, I know you're going to be out there this weekend yourself, but just from prior experience, did you have a preference?
Yeah, I mean, as a driver, I definitely want to be out front and control the lines, control the pace. Dale Jr., I think, does one of the best jobs in the sport. When you see him out front, how he controls basically the whole race, going from bottom to top, getting the whole group moved up the top, whatever. Obviously, did a really good job with his race cars. So I feel like I kind of have that same attitude and want to have that control too when I be out front. I'm controlling who gets a run, block, and whatever you got to do. As an owner, I feel the same too. I don't want to risk a chance at all being in anywhere outside the top 10. That's why I stress on hopefully we qualify well and get to the front quick, because anything obviously can happen anywhere on the racetrack, back, front, middle, half a lap behind the pack. Being out front, there's less cars to pass to get to the lead, in my opinion, at Daytona and Talladega. So we're going to try our best to stay out front and hopefully finish up front too.
Now, 2015 was a really good season for you guys. 3 wins, was able to, have multiple cars in multiple races, and that's all said and done. You know exactly what you accomplished, and I understand 2016. Sponsorship's going to dictate a lot of things, available drivers, and all that is going to factor into what actually happens in 2016. But the goals, what so far different about two-team goal-wide are you looking at that's going to be different than what you accomplished in 2015?
Well, I mean, the biggest change I feel like this year is we'll be racing strictly just for the Owners' Championship. We don't have a full-time driver, but we're planning on fielding 2 full-time teams. We don't have everything locked down yet, so if any drivers are out there interested in getting in the ARCA seat and having a chance to win races, you can call me anytime. But we're looking forward to that next challenge. Granted, in 2014 we did win the Owners' Championship along with the Drivers' Championship, so it won't be a new task, but we'll strictly be going after that. But we won the championship and won one race in 14. We finished runner-up in the championship last year and won in 3 races as an organization with our 2 different teams. So I feel like it was, each car we put on the racetrack has the same chance of winning. It's just all about the drivers executing, the crews executing, and the pit stops and making the right adjustments during the race. So I really want to, our goal is to win a half a dozen races this year. I think it's kind of a high number, but it's realistic too because we've been improving our program every year and keep on getting some really talented race car drivers behind the wheel and going out there and performing each and every week. And I think the biggest thing that's changed from the beginning to now isn't necessarily the speed of our race cars. I felt like when we debuted, we were some of the fastest race cars on the track. I think it's just our core group of guys have gotten stronger, bonded together really well. It's the shop preparation. You win races in the shop. If you're 100%, 110% coming out of the shop, you got all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. You're going to win races and championships, and that's what we individually did in 14, and we got better at in 15, and hopefully this year we're even better than we were. You can never be perfect, but you can always keep on improving.
Now, was it never the plan for this year to have a full-time driver and go for the championship, or was just availability and sponsorship made it where it's more of just an ownership run this year versus having a full-time and running for the ARCA Series championship?
Unfortunately, they're just the driver talent right now. With full-time wise, we never got that opportunity to work with anyone. Yeah. But we got a lot of things in the works, and I'm looking forward to potentially being back with a full-time driver in next year's season. So it's you can say a disappointment, obviously, because you want to win any championship you can win, but the biggest thing is we're going to be out there full-time with multiple drivers, giving multiple drivers chances to win races, to make their career move up to the next ladder, and to help our organization win races. So we're just going to keep on working as hard as we can.
Now, is there any plans of you being in the car for any of these races?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Nothing is finalized yet. Of course, nothing's been announced. Nothing is done. But we're gonna try to bust our tails and get some stuff wrapped up, and hopefully I'm in a handful of these races like I was last year. I can't tell you which ones yet. I'm not sure exactly every race, but I'll definitely be back in the seat and hopefully at a couple places to defend my winning title.
I was just more curious if we was going to see Superman this year or not.
I hope so.
When you're looking for drivers, and obviously you've done really well with Austin Wayne's self. You had was it Townsend or who was the driver you had the last race? Townley or
we had John West Townley our last race. We did some stuff with Cody Evans and then the Kane West runner-up in 2015, Noah Grigson.
I know that you've had a lot of really good, talented drivers, and I'm looking forward to seeing Gus and Cole out there at Daytona. But as an owner, what are you looking for when you decide, hey, I want this guy to be in our car or this girl to be in our car, whatever the case may be? What exactly are you out there looking for to determine you want them to be in one of your vehicles? Yeah,
well, I think if you ask that question to a lot of owners at this level, I think the number one answer would be their funding situation. However that is possible to make the right opportunity. That's important to me, obviously. That's obviously hugely important to me. But not necessarily the number one important thing. Number one to me is talent, obviously. I don't want to put somebody that's going to wreck my cars each and every week, and it's just going to hurt my reputation. It's going to hurt theirs, and it's not good for any of us, so we can just not have that happen. And secondly, it's their family, who they surround themselves with, the good people. They're going to represent their sponsors, who they work with. Are they going to represent the team well? If not, we don't need that either. I mean, that they go on somewhere else. I wish them best of luck, but that's not the way we want to operate. And then obviously funding too is key because that makes everything work. And obviously you have to have funding to put fast race cars on the track. So those are three key things in our development system here. And then once we start working with everybody, we just kind of try to continue that strong relationship, putting fast race cars on the track, working with the drivers in-house as much as we can with getting them bond, with a tight bond of our core group of guys. That communication is key in any relationship in life, business, personal, whatever you have to do, you're going to be successful at. So it's just a long process once we get everything going, but those are the three keys into my driver search, really.
Now, I'm going to put you on the hot seat, not really, but kind of here for a second. Outside of sponsorship, what was the one thing for Gus and what was the one thing for Cole that said, look, I want these drivers to be my drivers for Daytona? What were the one thing, just one for each of them, outside of the sponsorship? It is obviously that's going to be the most, especially Daytona, and what it's going to cost you to be down there. But outside of that, what one thing stuck out in your mind for both of them to make you decide that those are my guys for this weekend?
Yeah, well, actually, Gus and I raced each other a few years back at Gresham Motorsports Park in one of the Worldcon races. We didn't really personally know each other then. We just kind of raced each other. And actually, one of my main guys is from the same hometown as them, and they've known each other throughout the years. And Gus has always been had aspirations and dreams of racing at Daytona and racing at this level. And they were able to make everything work. And we've been in conversation with them about him, and I always knew he was a great talent, and from past experience. And this whole puzzle of all that going on, I think this is going to be a really good fit. And once I got to work with him at the test, I was like, wow, I think this is going to be really successful. I felt like he had an extreme feel for the car, the way he was able to control it in certain situations. At the test, his first time ever here at Daytona, his feedback was great. His demeanor was great. He was super calm, super thankful to all the guys, everybody's hard work, and first and foremost, his family and everybody that was here to support him was first class, great people, thanking everybody, and just really great people you want to work with. And so that struck me well, and wanted to put the deal together and get Gus behind our 98 car, and I think he's going to have a good showing for us. And then obviously Cole came to the deal came together with Cole here recently to drive our 78 car, and we've actually been in conversation with Cole for a while, a lot of 2015. Unfortunately, never were able to get anything to work out, just certain circumstances. But his sponsors were interested. We were interested in him, obviously, just from past conversations. And once again, I raced Cole at New Smyrna in Speed Weeks. I think in 2012 it was. I think we might have rubbed some fenders here and there, but you put that past it. But and he came down in the shop. He stayed there for almost a week, just working on the cars with the guys. He was cutting it up and real funny and seemed pretty dedicated and a nice attitude. And so I'm really looking forward to it. To everybody that we're working with this weekend. Really nice group of people. I think we'll work really well together in the draft as teammates, and just blessed to have the opportunity to work with some nice people.
Such a young team owner. How nice is it, and how great of a feeling is it to be able to walk around the garage? And I'm not trying to say it in a arrogant, gloaty way, but I'm sure that it's got to be nice just to be able to have that certain stride in your walk, knowing that, one, you're doing exactly what you wanted to do and what you love to do. Yeah, you might want to be in the car more often than you are, but you are putting together one of the best organizations in the ARCA series, and then some, as you guys are trying to do more. And you do it at such a young age. You got people that have been in the sport for so long, owner and driver-wise, that have not even come anywhere close to the success you had in the first 2 seasons already as an owner driver. How great of a feeling is that? Did you ever imagine that, you know, you would kind of have your elders out there kind of looking up to you and kind of wanting to know what the big secret is, how you're kind of putting all this together at such a young age? And I'm not going to say inexperienced, but at 21, you're not very experienced. I don't care how many years you've been around the sport. You know, I've been around a lot of things for a long time, and you know, I felt I was still inexperienced until I had more time in life. How has that been for you?
Well, it's been a heck of a ride, and first and foremost, I have a lot of respect for, you know, the Venturinis, the Cunninghams, the Kimballs, you know, the folks that have made the ARCA series what it is today with their organizations, all their drivers throughout the years, and teams and stuff. So you know, that's I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody. They've done a heck of a job, and you know, we've always had goals to come into the racing series once I was of age and making an opportunity. And honestly, the idea of owning our own ARCA team really didn't come up till 2013. 2013 was kind of a struggle of a year. It was a year that the year before I came off with a lot of momentum in my debut in ARCA, had really great runs, led laps, almost won some races, and went into 2013 probably a little bit too ahead of myself, and got back, slapped with reality right in my face, and really wanted, dug in, built our own team, went out there, kicked butt, won the championship, and we're trying to just keep on climbing. But that taught me a lot from then. And I don't try to be a 21-year-old that's super cocky saying I own a team or anything like that. It's it's just been a great opportunity. It takes a lot of great people. My name might be on the door, and I gotta be representative for a lot of things, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make a lot of stuff happen through administration, through the shop, that I don't want to take any credit for. They do it all. So it's just I'm glad to be a part of it, and glad we could put the strong team together, and I'm looking forward to the many years of success and climbing the ladder.
I don't know. If I'm an issue with it, like I said, I wouldn't be arrogant, and no by stretched imagination would I ever even come close to labeling you. The conversations that we've had, from the interviews that I've read, from the photo ops, you seem like you were probably the most laid-back, fun-going person that you could be around. I just know me, if I'm 21 years old, and knowing that, in 2013, this was not even a thought, and then I can only imagine what 2014 was like. Even though you won a championship, I'm sure that there had to have been weeks that you weren't even sure all the pieces were going to be in place to even be at the track the next week. And I don't even want to begin to start imagining the numbers when it comes to dollar signs and what it took, especially that first year. And I don't know if it's gotten easier, but I would assume that it's gotten a little bit easier. But then again, you've expanded, so I can imagine, the additional, the charges. But when it's all said and done, here you are in your third season, and you got 2 full-time rides. I wouldn't be arrogant, but my chest would be out, especially accomplishing everything you accomplished at such a young age. And I can only imagine how many people didn't take you serious at first. If it be even friends and family, like, yeah, whatever. Or especially the other competition, this young kid ain't going to. And to where you're at now, I know that I would wear my chest out a little bit farther. And people could call it arrogant if they want. I don't call it arrogant. I would be just really proud of what I accomplished. And I can only imagine how hard it is to have that balance of not looking too arrogant, but also know that, what, I've built this from the ground up, and yes, there's been a lot of people that have helped, and without these people, we would not have gotten where we're at, or would we be doing what we're doing. But yes, I don't know. I praise you a lot because I couldn't imagine 21 years old. I didn't even know what I wanted to do at 21 years old. All I knew.
Well, I appreciate that.
I was just ready to be out of the military. That was the only thing I knew at that point. I loved what I did in the military. I just didn't like doing it for the military. And you know, it's one of those things that it made me grow up. And if it wasn't did for the military, I don't know when I would have finally grown up. So at 21 and being owner of an organization, a two-team organization in the ARCA series, not just, and I'm not trying to belittle any of the series, but not just the K&N Pro Series, not some late model, you know, and you know, but it has their place, and every series is just as important as the Sprint Cup series, because without, you know, the late model programs, without the K&N Pros, all these programs, series, we wouldn't have the Sprint Cup drivers we have today. So every piece of this puzzle all the way up is just as important as Dale Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus and Rick Hendrick out there. But, you know, to know that you're at where you're at and you guys are looking to build on top of that this year, it says a lot. It says a lot about yourself, and it just blows my mind. Every time we get an opportunity to sit here and talk about it, or any time an article comes up and I get to read about, you know, what's going on, it just really blows my mind what you've been able to accomplish, and especially in such a short period of time.
I appreciate that. It's been you know, like I said, it's, you know, obviously came together pretty short here. All the success, but you know, it's felt like it's been forever, and just all, you know, all the hours we put in to make this happen. And I'm not, you know, complaining one bit. I love every second of it. This is what I want to be doing and continue doing, and looking forward to many years and hopefully many more championships and race wins, and hopefully continue growing my personal career too.
And I completely understand that the hours, and I hate trying to compare this to what you're doing, but the hours that I put in on a daily basis doing this, and the money. This was a light year for me, and in 2015, and I'd be willing to say that I spent at least $5,000 to $10,000, and that was a light year. To have not received anything in return, financial-wise anyway, I still would not trade the endless nights, the sleepless nights. Not wondering, you know, what bill that I need to sacrifice so I can continue making things happen. You know, everything I'm doing right now, what I love to do, and one day that this is all I get to do and not have to have the quote-unquote real job. And so even though I hate comparing the two, I completely understand, you know, what your thought process is and what the feeling is like, because, you know, that's ultimately what we want to do here. Into the platform that you're on doing it, or the expenses that you're doing on. When I'm dropping in a year, you're dropping probably 3 times that in a race easily in just one car alone. So that's why I hate trying to compare the two. But the sacrifices are well worth it when it's all said and done. And you know what you guys accomplished over there just blows my mind. And you getting the opportunity to have Gus on last week and getting to learn about him. I feel that he's got a bright future. And then we got Chris coming on, or Cole coming on tomorrow. Looking forward to getting to know him and talk to him. That's a really cool deal. Once again, I want to make sure that I wish you guys luck this weekend. I'm hoping that we go 4 for 4 on this, and you guys have a very good weekend, and we keep our little streak going here, so I can keep bragging about it, and we can keep making you have to come on the show so you can keep doing what you're doing. But even if you don't make it back, we know that you guys are going to be very successful this year, and looking forward to seeing what the 78 and 98 machines do out there, and definitely looking forward to having you back real soon. And like I said, we got Cole on tomorrow. Looking forward to talking to him and getting to know him. Mason, I want to wish you the best of luck 2016, and, of course, moving forward. Good luck with all the drivers that you have in your cars. Good luck when you get your opportunity to be out there on the track, and looking forward to having you back on here real soon.
Awesome. I appreciate every opportunity, and hopefully we can have a really successful weekend this weekend, and just thankful for everybody that made this opportunity possible, and excited to be back on the show sometime again, and you guys have a great night.
You too. That was Mason Mitchell of Mason Mitchell Motorsports, also known as Triple M. I tell you what, like I said, I couldn't imagine at 21 years old already have a series championship underneath my belt, and coming off a season that you had two cars. I want to say they had 2 cars every race, if not almost every race, and 3 wins, 2 with him, 1 with Austin Wayne himself. And then, of course, they went to 3 cars for the final race, and I think that they're planning on doing some 3-car races this year as well, amongst other stuff. I think that they're going to be venturing in some Truck Series racing, K&M Pro Series racing, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But definitely love having Mason on the show. Like I said, we got him on the week right before he won the championship back in 2014. And then, of course, we had Austin Wayne himself on last year, and then we had Mason right before he won Iowa and right before he won Kansas. So we'll see what this weekend brings for Triple M over there. But like I said, I couldn't imagine. I was lost. It wasn't until almost 5 years ago when we came up with the 110 Nation. It wasn't even the 110 Nation then. That I even had a clue what I wanted to do as a career or what I really passionately wanted to do. I was happy bouncing. I was happy being general manager at different places. I was fine with I was fine with what I did in the military. I enjoyed being a mechanic, getting the opportunity to work on Humvees and deuce and a halves and LMTVs and everything that I got to work on. I was great. There was not a time that I couldn't pull a Humvee in at 9 o'clock in the morning, have it ready to either have it pulled by lunch or have it ready to be pulled by lunch, come back at lunch, and then go ahead and switch everything over and drop the motor back in and push that Humvee out before 5 o'clock. There was none for me to get a motor changed in a day by myself without help. I truly loved what I did. There's things about the military I just didn't care for. A lot of it was just simple things, and some of it was double standard stuff. And I'm getting ready to get our guest on here. One prime example, I know people, you're sexist. I have no problem with females being in the military. None whatsoever. I think that there are just as intelligent and physical females out there as almost any guy. A lot of the guys I knew in the military, there was a lot of females in better shape. My whole thing is you can't preach that the military is all about one color, one sex, one everything, and then you have 2 different standards. And to be more specific, a guy would have to do 40 or 50 push-ups, I can't remember what it was, to pass this test, and a female could do like 15 or 20 and pass the exact same PT test. Now she gets a higher score and is promoted easier because their PT fitness scores are not the same. Well, Mr. CJ Sports is a female. I don't care. If I'm out on the battlefield and I get shot and she's held to a standard of 10 or 15 or 20 push-ups, whatever the case may be, I know that she's not picking my big butt up and carrying me off the battlefield where I had to do 50 or 60 push-ups to pass. I know I can put her on my shoulders and carry her off. I mean, that's the way I look at it. It's not more of a male-female thing. It's everybody needs to be held to the same standard, because if I get shot and I can't drag myself off the battlefield, I need to know the guy next to me or the girl on the other side of me is going to be able to pick my big butt up. And then when I was in the military, I was the lightest I ever was, and I wasn't even 200 pounds. I was like 196. That's a lot of weight. I know guys that, sadly enough, that can't even bench 200 pounds, and I'm talking like grown, full-size men, not, young guys or whatever. I know full-size grown men that can't even struggle with 200 pounds. I'm one that I believe you should be able to at least be able to push your weight at a minimum. And I'm sorry, but if you can't do 50 or 60 push-ups, and I know you're not picking my big butt up off the battlefield, then I don't need you out there with me. And I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about it. Regardless of what sex you are, it should be all one standard. And especially now that they're paying for transgenders, operations and everything else in the military now. So it just wasn't me. And the other thing, and I know this is real petty, and I'm going to get you on, I like to shower every day, and it drives me nuts to not be able to shower. It's just really nasty to me not to be able to shower at least once. Back then I was showering twice a day. I would shower after my first job after the military, then I would shower for my second job. So when I went to the field for a week, and as a mechanic on top of that, you can imagine the digging and all the Army grunt stuff, and then on top of that I had to work as a mechanic. to go back to my tent and use a baby wipe to wash off in that the extent of what I get to clean myself with, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. I came out of the field that first time. I stood in the shower for an hour and a half till that water was clear before I got out of that shower. I'm sorry, it's just the way I like to be clean. I don't want any infections, any diseases, anything else. I want to be clean. And you know, if I got to go out and I was in, you know, wartime, whatever, then it is what it is. But when I'm not, then I don't feel that I should have to be depleted to Porta-John and baby wipes, and that's my hygiene for a week. That's just horrible. But, you know, I did what I did. I was in the military. I served my time. I never got in trouble. I was great at my job. I was great at training other soldiers, and that's what, you know, it was what it was. But anyway, I ain't got Jay in here to listen to me talk about my military days. We got him on here to talk about the 2016 season. So without any further delay, let's get our next guest on. He is also a returning guest. He was also part of the Drive for Diversity program. Jay, how are you doing tonight?
Buddy, thank you so much for having me on the show tonight, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, and you're welcome. I love having the opportunity to do it. It made me grow up. It truly, I was a manager at wherever I worked at. I had, a church upbringing, but none of that made me grow up. Going overseas and seeing what I had to see and experience, and not that it was bad, but you realize, it is really bad out there, and people have it worse off than you, and you really learn to appreciate, no matter how bad you thought you have it, you do not have it that bad at all. When I watch people hanging their clothes from outside on the road because there's big craters of their walls missing from the war, and that's how they're living, I greatly appreciated everything about growing up, even to include that growing up we had to cut lawns to even have food for that night. It was one of those things, oh, God, I can't believe we got to do this just to eat. But then once I got to do this, I no longer ever complained about the way I was brought up and what we had and what we didn't have. I learned really quick on that. But before we jump into this, I want to give you an opportunity to plug anything you want to plug. It could be social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, personal site, team site, whatever you want to plug out there, sponsorship. We want you to have an opportunity to do that for the fans to be able to get to know you and get to know you better in your career before we jump into this.
Well, y'all can find me on JA Junior Racing at Facebook. Instagram, it's JA Junior 56, and then you can look me up on Rev Racing or Lear Motorsports on their social media.
We had you on the show last year. I can't remember exactly when, but I know we had you last year, and I know a lot has obviously has changed from year to year, especially in the driving world. We'll start with I know that you was part of the Drive for Diversity program. Remind me how that worked out for you. Did you just go to the combine? Did you get selected? How did that turn out for you?
It turned out amazing. I was one of the four that they selected. Well, no, five actually. Was it five? Yeah, four that they were selected for the K&N series. When I got the news, I was really excited. It's an amazing opportunity that NASCAR and Drive for the Diversity program they do, and then Rev Racing supports it. It was an honor. It's a really big accomplishment because you have a lot of kids that are coming up to the ranks that look up to you and that are diverse and stuff like that. So it's a really good. I'm glad to be one of those drivers that represent diversity.
And how did your 2000 go for you?
To tell you the truth, it didn't start out the way it did. I didn't like I wanted to. I didn't have no ride until June. I'll say somebody back home in California. They let go one of the drivers in the Lucas Oil Modified series. They gave me a call and then they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Nope, nothing. I'm not racing this year." So he's like, "I want you to race in my modified." So I'm like, "All right." So we tested. He was impressed how I raced and stuff like that. So we did a couple races with them, and then next thing you know, I got a big-time call from market team, which turned out to be Lear Motorsports, and they gave me an opportunity at Pocono. Didn't turn out so good. Qualified. I didn't qualify. I kind of screwed up the first lap. I slapped the wall. I had to start in the back, but finished 15th. and I kind of made it up in Kansas. We were up to 4th, ran there in the top 5 for a long time, and just got really tight towards the end and finished 9th. So, but I mean, just amazing opportunities that people have been giving me ever since. I mean, at Lear Motorsports, and I mean from back home, just a local short track, they've been giving me, and I haven't looked back since.
Now, I know I've shared a couple pictures, and I believe it was from Lear Motorsports. I don't know if it was from your page or from theirs, but you are running with Lear Motorsports again this year, right?
Just for Daytona as of right now.
Just for Daytona? What was the off-season like for you? Did you get much of an opportunity to do anything personal? And then also, what does a driver do in the off-season to work on getting themselves prepared for 2015, not only physically, but to ensure that there is some kind of ride somewhere? What does a driver do in their off-season like that?
Actually, when I got selected for the diversity program, I had to come back to Charlotte, start looking for places and stuff like that for my apartment. And I was pretty busy. You know, once in a while I would go out to Las Vegas, Motor Speedway, out on the road course, try to race my legend car. But I don't think she loves me anymore. She kept breaking down every time I went out. She would break an axle or throttle would get stuck. And I'm like, I think she doesn't like me anymore. So I kind of stopped that. But then I had to get back to business, you know. And then now I'm at Daytona here trying to do a double duty for the Speed Weeks.
Now, did you get an opportunity to be one of those people that tested? I want to say it was last month that they did the testing. Was you one of those people?
Yes, I was. We were, I think, like 10th or 9th fastest, I think it was. So we were really fast. We have really high expectations, you know, as a team. We have, 3 great, amazing drivers, you know, Kyle Winman and Brandon Lynn. I really trust them a lot. So we're excited, you know. We're expecting to finish in the top 5 or even win for both, for the whole organization.
Did you, was that the first time you ever ran at Daytona?
Yes, when I tested, yeah.
How was that for you? Like, I got an opportunity. Dylan Martin was out there, and I got.
It's something you would have to do. We were after drivers being on Friday because it rained Friday and Saturday, and I got to tell you, it was once that little minivan went to the banking. I mean, literally, you would have it's just speechless. It's the banking that corner. I mean, you're almost at a 45-degree angle. When I finally got on track, was it Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember. Literally, I go in the corner, I'm like, I can't lift. I think I'll fall to the pavement if I lift. So, but, I mean, it was an amazing track. You know, it felt really special in the first couple laps because just the name of Daytona, you know, like amazing champions have come out of that racetrack and the wins and people like Darren Earnhardt have raced there. So it was pretty legendary.
Now, I know that I talked to Dylan Martin. He was out there, and then Gus Dean was out there as well. And the two things that they talked about that I want to ask you about was the G-forces when you went into the banking, and then also what it was like to be in the draft. There was two things that they had never experienced in a super speedway before. What was it like for you? One, the G-forces going into the corner, and then two, being in those draft packs.
The draft, it wasn't really that bad. You know, I kind of figured because I ran Kansas, so I kind of had like a little expectation of what was going to happen. But I mean, the G-forces, I mean, I've never experienced such a thing like that. You know, compared to Kansas to Daytona, no, I felt so much of the G-forces just because of the speeds we're going. Literally, kind of like I was saying, like first couple laps, I was kind of nerve-wracking, but then after that, kind of got comfortable and then went back to work.
Now, they also said the bump draft wasn't quite what they expected. They expected a little bump in, but it was a little bit more than just a little bump in. What was the bump draft like for you? Was it a little bit more than just a little bumping going on?
We tried what they call like bump drafting a little bit a few times. The thing is, like when we went to go test, we had such a lot of rookies with us. We really couldn't do it. That's our main priority this time when we go for the race. You know, it'll be a lot more serious. We have a lot more. Our driver lineup is a lot more better. They know what we're doing and stuff. So we'll probably try it during the draft just to be safe, know what we have in store for the race. So we might do that.
Now, once Daytona is done next weekend, what are your plans from that point?
You know, just focus on the NASCAR Can-Am E Series. You know, Saturday we do the ARC race, and Sunday I jump over to New Irma and race the K&N Series. So that's the start of that. We're really excited for that Rev deal. They brought 4 new drivers and stuff like that with Colin and then Ruben Garcia and then Ali. So, it's a really talented group. They brought a lot of brand new people from different teams. So we all have brand new cars. So we have high expectations for this year.
Now, I guess that kind of explains why I saw 2 different cars. They must have both been from your Facebook page or fan page. Cause I saw the pictures from the Lear Motorsports, and I remember what their cars looked like, kind of a light blue, teal blue color in the 59s. And it seemed like there was a totally different car. It was like 46 or something. So I guess that kind of explains a little bit more because you have 2 different things going on. Is the K&N Pro Series, that's a full season with that, correct?
Yes, it is. It's a full season.
That sounds like a cool deal. And refresh my memory. How young are you?
What's that?
I said refresh my memory. How young are you?
I'm 20. I'll be 21 on Mother's Day.
Gotcha. For some reason, I was thinking he was a little bit younger.
Everybody says that. Because I'm so short.
I don't know how I was thinking that. I don't know. Maybe it's the whole junior thing. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. So you got the full K&N Pro Series, and so far you got the one ARCA Series race. Are there potentially going to be other races with Lear Motorsports, especially if the performance at Daytona fares out, or any other ARCA Series opportunities? I'm sure that you're wanting to jump into as many cars as you can as possible.
Mm-hmm. No, that is a plan, but as of right now, we're just taking everything step by step, how everything goes. My main priority right now is with the NASCAR K&N Pro Series with Rev Racing and NASCAR and Drive for Diversity. We really want to do good this year. Hopefully, get some wins. Hopefully, get championships. So, if the ARCA ride with Daytona, I kind of wanted to do it, so we did that. Just trying to get, exposure and stuff like that. And plus, it's Daytona. You can't miss that opportunity. With Carlos Lira and Lear Motorsports, they were giving me the opportunity that they really wanted me to race. So I'll say, yeah, let's go for it. So, but as far as past Daytona, I'm not sure. We're still working with that, trying to work with the schedule, see what happens.
Gotcha. Now, you were talking about California. Is that where you're originally from?
Yeah, I'm from Hamburg, California.
How much of I guess culture? I would probably say a shock to go from California to North Carolina. How was that for you? I know how much of a difference was for me, and I just didn't look from Ohio.
To say the least, I was actually pretty excited because I've been to North Carolina a few times, and I just love it. Out in the country, nice. You see nature and stuff like that. In LA, it's so much like the big city. So it was all right. I kind of like California, but North Carolina, I love it right now. Like the only thing I don't like right now is the weather. It's nothing like California. I'm freezing to death.
You don't like seeing all 4 seasons in one day?
No, it's too cold.
Oh, it ain't always like that. I think the biggest thing, also I come from Ohio, so I'm used to the cold weather. And I tell people all the time, I prefer the cold weather because I can always put enough clothes on. It don't matter how hot it is and how little I have on. I can never take enough off in the summertime. So I enjoy the cold weather. I think the biggest thing to me was adjusting was the seasons. You could have in a week or even simply a day, you could see almost all 4 seasons. And that's kind of the big funny joke here in North Carolina. You just never know from morning to night what to wear and what to expect because you can see it all in one day.
No, yeah, that's true. It's worse than Florida, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I've been down there a few times. That heat down there is something crucial. That and the rain, the way it could be sunny, then 20 minutes later it could be a hurricane, and an hour later you would have never known it even rained. So, definitely.
No, but I'm liking the new change. I got finally settled in last week. Got all my stuff moved in, so I'm living up in Kannapolis, North Carolina. So it's kind of convenient because I'm right in the middle of Lear Motorsports or Rev Racing, so either the ones who need me, it's down the road, so it's a pretty nice area.
How important do you feel that is to move in that area? I mean, you put yourself right in the middle of everything when it comes to what you want to do. And when I say it, I'm like, you're right there with everything. I've been down there as a Hall of Fame. The last 2 years, we've had the opportunity, Shorty and I, to be at the Chip Ganassi event that they had out there, a little VIP thing they throw for a bunch of guests. So I can only imagine what it's like as a race car driver to be really in the heart of it all. How important was it for you personally to have that opportunity to put yourself right there in the middle of it all versus kind of be on the outside looking in?
No, it's an amazing opportunity that both teams are giving me right now. So I had to make the move. You only live once, and you never want to make you never want to miss an opportunity, And I had to move out here and try to make every opportunity happen. I'm trying to take every advice I can, every opportunity I can. Like with Rev Racing, it's a free year that I get to race, and nothing out of my pocket. Got to show everything I got, my talents and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's going to be a really tough year, but by learning, living sides, because I've never been living on my own. So I've been eating a lot of cereal in the morning and stuff, so Mom doesn't make me breakfast anymore, so.
It's love cereal that will never change. Honestly, all the times that I did not have anybody living with me, that is what I had in my house. I had cereal, I had milk, and I would probably have some kind of protein powder mixed up to make protein drink, and that's all I would have. I wouldn't lie. I'd always have a couple boxes of macaroni and cheese and baked beans, because I don't know. It was one of those things.
No, I have the baked beans. I haven't used them yet. I have that.
My stepmom got me on eating macaroni and baked beans together, and I know that doesn't sound remotely satisfying to anybody else, but that is honestly the only way I eat my macaroni and my baked beans is all mixed together in one big bowl. And so anytime I live by myself, it has been cereal, milk, protein stuff, and macaroni and cheese and baked beans. And that is usually in my pantry and my refrigerator. So
I use macaroni and cheese. I use macaroni and cheese as my midnight snack.
It's an easy fix, and everybody loves macaroni and cheese, but believe it or not, my son does not like mac and cheese, which really just baffles me because I've never heard of a kid that does not like mac and cheese.
Oh, man. You should ground him for that.
But the cereal thing, it's funny. So I moved down here in North Carolina. While I was still in the military, I had to take a job once I got back from my deployment, and I worked at a local pizza shop. And every Friday or every Saturday and Sunday, I would open with who is my best friend now. And every Saturday and Sunday, we had, I don't know if you've ever been to a pizza place that they fill the little great cheese thing containers up. They usually come out of a big white tub, and it's a good sized bowl. It's enough to put about one box of cereal in. And that's what we would do every Saturday and Sunday morning. We would walk down to the grocery store, and we'd each get a box of cereal and a gallon of milk to share, and we would both sit there and eat a whole box of cereal in one bowl sitting, and that would be our breakfast for Saturday. Then we'd go down and get another box of it for Sunday. I could never get tired of cereal.
No, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of growing up to do in the last couple of days, so it's been a good learning experience.
I can only imagine though what it was like. Yeah. Like when I had to go from Ohio to North Carolina, I was 18. I was a little bit younger. I never even left my city. And as a matter of fact, when I joined the military, I had the option of going to North Carolina or going to Germany. And I was like, look, I have never left my city, no little my state, other than a little family trip here, a little family trip there, nothing really big. And even my city, I just stayed there. I had no business going anywhere. I'd go to a Cincinnati Reds game, Cleveland Browns game, something like that. But that's really the extent of it. I was like, let me try North Carolina first. And, I had the security. I knew I was locked in for the next 4 years, guaranteed I was going to have a job, didn't have to worry about housing, didn't have to worry about food. Unfortunately, I got to North Carolina 3 days after I was there. Hey, you're going to Boston. I was like, wow, that just ruined that whole plan. Like, I wanted to get used to being out of my state, not alone outside of the United States first. But you guys don't have the same security. There's no guarantee that you're going to be, at Lear Motorsports or Rev Racing or whatever for the next 4 years. All this is for you guys is performance-based. And so I can only imagine what it's like for you to go from California to Carolina and really have no guarantees. Just like with Allie, we had her on 2 weeks ago or last week, going from Ohio, kind of my neck of the woods, down to North Carolina. I couldn't imagine doing it with the possibility, I sit there and stress whether or not I want to make a job change and go to a different city, let alone move clear across the United States. I couldn't imagine what was it like to have to go through that process of thinking, I know there's no guarantees, but I know if I do this, there is a really good chance that I will get to fulfill my dream and be in the career I want to be. How hard was it for you to make that move?
I mean, it was really hard, actually, because it was actually my last year of high school, my senior year, actually. It was right before I was going to graduate. And me and my dad kind of sat down. He was like, so what are your plans after this, after high school? I was like, me and my dad always speak the truth. I always tell him the truth. I never lie to him. Like, came back to me, we always speak man to man. And then I kind of tell him, I really don't want to go to school. That was our plan. Like, right before the end of junior year, I was going to go to college. I got accepted to Cal Poly Pomona down in California, but I really thought, like, if I did, I wasn't going to like it. I do like school and stuff like that, but it was just, just to say the least, I would have appreciated more than me doing my racing. Racing I've done it since I was 5 years old. It's all I know, It's like something like a little toy. You get like a little kid. He's always gonna remember that first toy you get him. So that was the plan ever since. And then I had no backup plans. If I screw up, I fall to the ground. And but if I fall down, I at least I know I tried. I gave it all I got. I tried to impress people. I made the best of it. I have no regrets. And so I did what best I could.
Now, one more thing, I'm going to let you go for the night, let you get rested up.
Really?
Yeah, it's already 10:30. First is, what's this week been like for you? I don't know what the difference is when it comes to preparation for Daytona when you have the ARCA Series versus the Sprint Cup Series. I know the Sprint Cup Series, I believe this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, they do the Sprint Unlimited, or maybe it's next week they do the Sprint Unlimited. I know it's a week and a half ordeal. They got the Sprint Unlimited. They got the qualifying, I believe, on that Saturday, so it's probably 2 weeks from now. No, actually, Daytona's next weekend, so 10 days from now. So this weekend, this Saturday night, they got the Sprint Unlimited. They got qualifying this weekend. They got Thursday. They got the 2 qualifying races, and then we got the Daytona. So I know it's a week-long ordeal. What's it like for the ARCA Series? Is your week kind of as hectic, or what's it like for you guys?
It was really busy this week because I was going back and forth because in Rev, they were still getting my seat fitted and stuff like that, trying to finish up with their car. And then I had to run back up to Mooresville where the Lear Motorsports were, trying to finish up that car. Luckily, both teams did an amazing job. Both cars came out perfect. They're in the hauler and just ready to race. But it was a really busy week. I finally landed here in Daytona. I'm sitting in my hotel, trying to wake up tomorrow morning and go down the track, and hopefully everything goes good down at the ARCA track, and then for inspection, and hopefully practice goes well.
Now, my other question is, outside of winning at Daytona in the ARCA Series, and then obviously outside of winning a race or championship in the K&N Pro Series, what is one personal goal of yourself? I mean, obviously everybody's goal is to win a race or win a championship. So I want those put to the side. I kind of want to kind of get an idea of what kind of goals you set for yourself. If it be, top 10, top 5 finish every race of the season. I don't care what the goal is. Outside of those two things, winning a race or championship, I want to know what outside of those two, what is your next biggest goal that you're setting for yourself going into 2016?
Just try to do the best I can. We're for that K&N East Series. I'm going to try to. We have the equipment we can do. We can win races. No doubt about that. I mean, just win. Hopefully, we bring home the championship this year for that K&N East deal. I got an amazing choo-choo with Mark Green. He has a lot of knowledge behind him, so I really trust him, as he trusts me. So that's we really knew that bond. So I mean, I'm setting a really high mark for myself. No excuses this year. Well, it's either win or go home this year for the K&N East Series. But for the ARCA race, I mean, it's the same thing. It's Daytona. You got to go for it. It's only one race a year that you race there, so you got to make the most of it. So, but if I don't win, I mean, it'll be good. Hopefully, finish the top 5, the top 10. It'll be all right. I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't hope that. So.
Well, I don't want to cause no friction between teammates, but you're at Daytona. You're coming around turn 4, and you got an opportunity knowing the guy behind you could push you out front, but you are following a teammate. Is it team first or is it win first?
How many cars are behind that car?
The rest of the field. I guess it does make it different.
Oh, it's just us three? I thought it was just us three. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that.
If you have an opportunity, say it's two. Matter of fact, saying it is one line. For some reason, you guys are not double filed. Nobody's stuck their nose out there, and you're coming around, going through the turn 3 and turn 4, and you guys are still single file. One of your teammates is out front. The rest of the field is behind you. You're still second. Are you content staying in second, or do you take the chance to go ahead and put yourself in victory lane?
If nobody goes with me, I'll stay in second. Make it a team effort. Make it 1-2.
I tell you what, that's got to be a hard decision because you don't know either way whether or not they're going to follow you or not. What evidence has been communicated to you through talking to spotters that you know that third place on back is going to follow you if you decide to break free?
I'll stay inside. I'll help my teammate win.
We'll
but after the race, I think I deserve a little piece of that paycheck, so I'll hand him the bill.
We'll see. We'll see how the cars line out Saturday. See what happens.
Call me Monday. See how it goes.
We'll both definitely. I'll get a hold of you one way or another come Monday, and if something like that comes down, if it's through Twitter, Facebook, or whatever the case may be. But I definitely want to wish you luck on at Daytona for both these races, and then of course 2016, especially in the K&N Pro Series, since you know that's locked up. Hoping that you get more opportunities to sit in more seat time in whatever series you get an opportunity. And of course, the rest of your career, we'll wish you the best of luck. Looking forward to seeing you out there Saturday. Of course, I won't be there, but I will be watching every race. Now that I got a DVR, I won't miss nothing now. I love it. I was already appreciative of NBC and their coverage. Now we got the DVR for this season, so I don't have to miss anything. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to getting you back on here soon and seeing how.
I'm always here for you guys, so you guys can always call me. I'll always have time for you guys. Then it's always a pleasure to be on your show.
I definitely thank you for that. Good luck, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All righty, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. That was Jay Jr. of Lear Motorsport and Rev Racing. We'll be doing double duty this weekend at Daytona. It's weird to hear saying double duty at someone such a young age. Such a promising career, though. When we're used to saying double duty, we're used to talking about Kyle Busch doing it or Brad Keselowski doing it. The veteran drivers, but to have this young, motivated, young, talented athlete doing it, it just sounds weird, but I'm glad we had him on the show. I'm glad we got him back on the show. Looking forward to having him back again, and hopefully he has a very successful weekend. And I tell you what, it's got to be probably the most difficult thing for me, having such great relationships with all these drivers and hoping the best for each and every one of them without not overstepping who I'm supporting. Like, you know, I honestly wish, like last year, we had like the top 10, literally the whole top 10 in the ARCA Series points on the show. And, you know, you wish that all 10 of them can win, because all of them gave us their time and repeatedly gave us their time. You know, we had a lot of them on multiple times, and just to you know, you want to throw your support in everybody's direction, but you're only one company and only one person to be able to do it. But I definitely wish both these guys the best of luck, and I love that they take the time out of their schedule. You know, you listen to his schedule and getting prepared for 2 different races. I can only imagine what it's been like. And yet he still managed to find time to talk to us. And like I said, it's not the first time he's been on the show. Mason Mitchell, that's the 4th time. We've had, you know, Sarah Cornett-Sheen. I think she finished 6th last year in the points. We had her on, I think, 3 or 4 times at this point. We ended up having Grant Enfinger that ended up being the series champion at least once. I know we had Austin Wayne Self right before his win. So at Berlin. So, you know, I'm very, very thankful. And Miss Lee, she is doing a phenomenal job. You know, as I'm working, and I'm getting ready to get you on here, Izzo, as I'm working hard to get other sports, like we had Zach Boychuk last Tuesday night, I'm working hard on getting the others so we stay, you know, a variety. Miss Lee's been knocking it out. We're going to have a lot of K&N Pro, ARCA Series, and Truck Series drivers on this year, and we're hoping to even come back with even more, and you know, and even keep continuing. I know we've had a couple of Xfinity Series and veteran, no longer part of the Sprint Cup Series, but former Sprint Cup Series guys on. And I know tomorrow night we got Cole Powell of Triple M, and we got Dylan Lupton joining us tomorrow. Both of those very talented drivers. So definitely looking forward to this season, and we're right on the verge. Is ARCA Series and K&N Pro kicking off this weekend, and then technically the Sprint Cup Series with the Sprint Unlimited race, and then we got qualifying, and then all next week you got, you know, practices, and then we got the 125 or the qualifier race. I don't even know what they call them anymore. I know they used to be the 125 qualifiers, or 150s, I think, back in the day. I forget. They keep changing it. So, but we had a 2-week gap, and I know a lot of NHL fans, they were all about this gap in between football being done and when the next sports picked up, to kind of be their time. Not that they don't got their time, and not that NHL is a dying breed or anything like that, but this was an opportunity that there was really nothing else going on. You just had the Super Bowl. That was really it. Everything else was kind of on hold for a 2-week period of time where there was just nothing else to watch, and kind of let the spotlight be on just the NHL. And we got Izzo on here to talk a little bit more about that. How are you doing tonight, Izzo?
I'm doing pretty good, Jay. How about yourself?
I cannot complain at all. It's one of the best times of the year. Just when one sport starts to slow down, NHL in the second half of their season, the NBA is getting ready to hit the halfway point with their All-Star on the 14th. NASCAR follows that on the 21st with their season. Baseball spring training is right around the corner. I sitting in the seat right here, I can't ask for a better time of the year.
Yeah, you definitely got that right, especially with the NHL trade deadline just over 2 weeks away. So going to be pretty interesting here.
Now, I before we get into your agenda, I had someone I did get a read into, and I want you to kind of break this down a little bit more for me and let me kind of get more of an idea of the significance of what happened. But I knew that I saw a player get suspended for 20 games. I really didn't read into it. Then I had somebody come in tonight and talk a little bit more about it. And I found out that the player punched the referee. And there was a little bit more that I guess I should have read into. What exactly happened, and how big of a deal is this for the NHL? Because up to this point, from what I gathered, this was the first time an NHL player actually went ahead and hit a referee.
Well, we do have some bad moments. Referees have been involved in the fisticuffs before. This play, if I'm not mistaken, Dennis Wideman was skating to the bench after being hit. Kind of looked like he cross-checked the referee pretty good. Just from the instant replay, it's kind of a shotsy play. I mean, you can see Wideman is kind of a little out of it skating. He's going to the bench. He's not going back into the play. And, you know, it was kind of like, you know, it was just really weird. Just the way this whole play kind of broke down was really weird. 20 games for hitting a referee, I mean, we've all seen, you know, in football or anything like that, even baseball, you know, anytime an umpire or a referee gets, you know, challenged or some sort of way or becomes in some sort of involved in verbal contact, maybe possibly, you know, physical contact, we've seen players ejected and fined. Haven't really seen anybody suspended for 20 games like we've seen. This is definitely, I guess it's like a zero tolerance kind of policy, I guess, you know, trying to protect the referees who are, you know, dodging everything in sight, you know, when a game is going on. So, I mean, you have the two linesmen and the two referees. It's you know, they're trapped inside that rink too. You know, they gotta be able to let players be able to make the plays they need to, and you know, and at the same time, you know, be very, you know, cautious and safe about what's going on the rink. So, you know, these referees aren't really watching, you know, the pucks. They're watching players. They're watching, you know, offsides, icing. You know, they're watching sticks. They're watching feet. You know, everything. So, you know, it's a lot of things can go bad. We've seen refs hit by pucks before. We've seen refs get caught up in body checks and everything between players. We've seen refs get hurt time and time again. One referee actually took a slap shot in the ribs a few days ago. So, I mean, he, you know, didn't get out of the way in time. So, I mean, I know that really does hurt as an understatement. That really does hurt. But this is just the league saying, hey, this is zero tolerance. We don't care, you know, it felt like it was a statement like, we don't care if this was an accident or if you did this on purpose. This is just what the punishment is going to be regardless. And, you know, hey, the Flames can't afford to lose a guy like Dennis Wideman right now. He's, you know, one of their assistant captains, one of their, you know, veteran D guys on the bench and everything like that, and that's just going to be a huge loss for him for the next couple of weeks, Jay.
Oh, goodness. Like I said, I had seen it come across the wire, and I don't know if I even shared it with you or not. I just remember seeing it, and then I didn't really pay much more attention to it. And so when someone brought it up tonight, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is something I need to ask about, because, yeah, I didn't really look into it. Also, there was a big trade that was either 9-player or 9-team trade. I can't remember. I shared it over there. How big of a trade was this, and was it impactful, a really impactful move for the teams that were involved, or was this just something minor that just went amongst a bunch of teams?
Well, this trade has big implications across the board. This could possibly lead to an even bigger acquisition for Toronto later down the road. The last couple of years, Toronto has been doing very well, shedding salary cap money and everything like that at this time. And they've gotten rid of the David Clarkson deal, which was hitting them for $17.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. The Phil Kessel contract before he got traded to Pittsburgh, and now Dion Phaneuf, who is now an Ottawa Senator. And the beautiful thing about Toronto and the way they've handled these big pay cuts is they haven't had to retain any salary whatsoever. So we're talking maybe anywhere in the ballpark of, you know, 60 to possibly, you know, $90 million worth of salary cap saved just in these couple players that have been released or not released but traded from Toronto. But Toronto is definitely has a plan right now, and in this big trade, Toronto acquired Jared Conan, who's a defenseman, pretty solid defenseman, up-and-coming guy. Been playing pretty well for Ottawa. Forward Colin Greening and Milan Mahalik and Tobias Lindberg, a young prospect guy. Colin Greening and Milan Mahalik are pretty excellent, pretty good wingers. Milan Mahalik is a very avid goal scorer. He's going to do a lot of good things for Toronto. Ottawa, in return, will take on the rest of Dion Phaneuf's 5-year, $7 million cap hit. They also got Matt Fratton, Casey Bailey, forward Ryan Rupert, and defensive prospect Cody Donahue. So this was a big non-player trade. This was just Ottawa winning just to get in, get into a playoff push of some sort. Dion Phaneuf is definitely one of the top defensemen in the league. He's only 30 years old. He'll be second to Erik Karlsson, captain of the Senators. So that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Dion Phaneuf, who hasn't really produced a lot of points this year. I think 24 points in 51 games so far this year, only with like 5 goals. So Dion's, numbers are down a little bit, but I think this is a place he really wanted to go. Apparently, this was one of the teams on his, list of clubs to be traded to, team, because he did have a no-trade clause. So Ottawa is definitely trying to make a push for, maybe possibly a late playoff run, where they're sitting at in the standings right now. So this is definitely kicking off the trade deadline pretty standard, or pretty impactfully right now, with Ottawa being 4 spots out of a playoff spot. So a lot of these teams, I expect a lot of teams to maybe, make a push, or definitely be buyers during the trade deadline. Some are going to be buyers and sellers, just like Carolina. So this Toronto deal has actually opened up the possibility for Toronto to go ahead and try and acquire Steven Stamkos, who is the captain down in Tampa Bay. We all know who Steven Stamkos is. He is one of the top forwards in the league, cream of the cream, as I would put it. But Stamkos being from Toronto, that being his hometown and everything, with Dion Phaneuf being traded, who was the Toronto captain, pretty much says, hey, Stamkos, why don't you come up to Toronto? We'll pay you all the money that we have and, give you the captain spot. So this trade is definitely, I don't think that we're going to see the end of this road yet. I don't think it's going to come into a dead end. I think this is just a big play for Toronto to try and really bring back their hometown boy in Steven Stamkos, Jay.
Sounds like a lot of moving around going on. And you said the deadline is what? It's about another 2 weeks?
Yeah, February 29th is the trade deadline. So I was reading an article today about this to see if trade deadline moves were going to be fewer or more this year. And just from the list of rental players that they can, grab, I think we're going to see a lot more very big trades and everything like that. Who knows? Stamkos could be traded to Toronto, before the trade deadline. If not, he will probably just walk out on the contract and, go to Toronto during the summer after free agency kicks. So a lot of possibilities here. A lot of teams are going to be buying. I believe that the Devils are going to be trying to add to their stock. Montreal is going to try and add to their stock since now they're out of a playoff spot. Carolina is definitely going to be buying and selling. They feel that this is going to be the last few games for Eric Staal here in Carolina, which is, kind of sad to see. I definitely would not like to see Eric Staal go anywhere else. Class act guy, good quality leader, has the cup experience, winning the cup with Carolina and everything like that. So a lot of teams are going to be buying and selling. You got Andrew Ladd, who's the captain of the Winnipeg Jets. He's up for grabs probably for a rental player. The Jets just signed Dustin Byfuglien to a contract, so he's off the trading block. He was another name that was floating around up there. As I said before, Steven Stamkos and his teammate Jonathan Drouin. One of them or possibly both of them could be gone within the next couple of weeks. The Flames, Yuri Hudler, they're looking to move him to a good playoff contender for Hudler and everything. Him being an excellent centerman and everything like that. Keith Yandel is another one from the Rangers. His cap hit is pretty significant, especially for a D-man and up in New York, where they have a stacked payroll right now. The Rangers could offload Keith Yandel to somebody. So, I mean, we have a lot of teams right now that are in pretty good position, don't really need to buy a lot. I do believe Washington, who is even at the top of the conference right now, might even make a play at a player or two. Who knows? They could probably snatch up Eric Stahl if everything's right in Washington and Carolina. So there's going to be a lot of big teams, I think, that are going to be making a big push. I'd like to see Florida add to their roster a little bit, maybe with some more veteran leadership, especially on the front end and everything like that on the offensive end, just so Yager's not the only one there with real playoff experience like that on the front end for the Panthers. So a couple of weeks here, I feel we're going to see a very few trades that are going to be very, very impactful come down the playoff road, Jay.
Second half of the season so far, and I know we're only about 7 days removed from the beginning of the second half. Is we had the All-Star weekend 2 weekends ago. Has anything changed as in performance? A lot of times when you have 3 or 4 days off because of an All-Star break, some teams come back in the second half full of energy and kind of come out surprised, other teams and media and fans, and you got some teams that kind of come out of the gate really slow. And Washington's beginning of the season is a prime example. They didn't start off as hot as they have been, and of course they've come out in the second half and just as hot, another 3-game win streak, and they're still yet to hit double digits in the loss category, and everybody else is like 16 or more losses. Has anything surprised you, or has there been any significant differences from the first half of the season to what we've seen so far in the first week of the second half?
Well, yeah. Actually, Pittsburgh has actually caught my eye recently. Malkin has been out the last couple weeks now, getting word today that he's going to be out for another week. Sidney Crosby's just gone on a tear the last few games. This past Saturday night, being down in Florida, down 2-0 in Florida, and coming back and winning in overtime. Chris Letang scoring 2 goals there. Crosby actually getting the game-tying goal back in there with just over a minute to go, if I do remember correctly. So Crosby's actually turned up the heat on his game. I think they won 5-6 straight games now, and they're at the 8th spot in the playoff race right now with the second wild card position, with only New Jersey trailing them by 2 points, Montreal by 3 points, and Carolina by 4 points. But Marc-Andre Fleury seems to be playing pretty well. The defense is holding pretty strong. The power play is 8th in the league right now at just over 20%. Clicking on all heels, which is good, especially with Malkin being out. You'd like to keep that going. Penguins have made some roster moves from their minor league team, bring up some young guys to get them some experience and everything like that. So that's been working out really well for them. Another guy, Peter Mrazek, goaltender for the Red Wings, has put on a stellar performance. One of the dark horses for the Vezina right now. Definitely having a pretty good year and forcing Jimmy Howard out, who is probably going to be another player that's going to be on the trade deadline there, Jay. Jimmy Howard's stats have been down this year. He's got just over $5 million cap hit. His .904 save percentage right now is just not good. His 2.89 goals against, his average is not good right now, and he's just not been himself. With Peter Mrazek being a young kid and still at a very small contract, is due to get a pretty big raise next season. So Jimmy Howard could definitely be trade bait within the next couple of weeks here. He's going to be I feel Detroit might have to hold back on some of his salary. $5.3 million is quite a bit, and there's only a couple teams that I could think of that maybe would look for a goaltender like Jimmy Howard, possibly Calgary, maybe Toronto. So I'm going to keep my eyes on these two teams right now and Jimmy Howard. So it's going to be an interesting race here, especially in Detroit, to see who's going to end up taking the spot here. Peter Mrazek's doing his thing right now, and Jimmy Howard, he's just hasn't been playing well, and now he's not seeing any ice time. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. So I feel Detroit's going to definitely be some buyers, and definitely going to be a seller of one or two guys to better their spot in the standings right now. Because I mean, you got Washington, who's at 80 points right now, Jay. Like you said, they don't even have double-digit losses yet. Another 14 points, and they can clinch a playoff spot and lose the rest of their games and everything like that. So, it's pretty, it's pretty interesting. So, Florida's sitting at 70 points right now. The Rangers at 65. The Islanders at 62. So, I feel fourth place is going to be, the spot to want to grab between the Islanders, the Lightning, the Red Wings, the Bruins, and the Pens. The Devils, Corey Schneider's been playing awesome. Scoring hasn't really been there like it should. That's why I feel they're going to be looking at maybe trying to acquire some guys, before the trade deadline. Maybe a guy like Jonathan Drouin could help them. Andrew Ladd could possibly be a good fit in there. Carolina would be very suited trying to go after a guy like Yuri Hudler or something like that. They're going to get some value when they do trade Eric Staal, which all fingers are leading to that right now in Carolina. So kind of a disappointing thing with Carolina only being 3-4 spots out of a decent playoff spot right now. You would like to see Eric Staal, stay there and try and lead the team, just like, in days before and everything back in 2006. So Cam Ward is another guy on that trade block that, Carolina's probably going to be looking to get rid of. Cam Ward has just not been relevant since, 2009, 2010. So, it's been a rough been a rough 5 years for him since, their glory days of making the playoffs and everything. So Ron Francis has his hands full in Carolina, Jay. So, hey, maybe they should call up our buddy Zach Boychuk and give him a roster spot. Who knows? So, it's hopefully they can win some games here, 2 or 3 here, try and win them on the road and everything like that. So, you want to go to the playoffs, you got to win on the road, and when you win on the road, you definitely got to win at home. So sitting at 24-21 right now, and 9 with 54 games played, you don't have a lot of room for error. So it's going to be, like you said, everybody else is sitting at like 16 or more losses. So it's only a few teams have really, just cruised through. I mean, if you look at the Western standings, you got Chicago at 76, Dallas is at 71, and St. Louis is at 68, and the Kings are right behind them at 69, and then there's a significant gap between the Kings and the Ducks. So, these teams, on the bottom half of the playoff bracket right now, they're going to be definitely buying some guys and, trying to bolster their rosters right now. So it seems that it is Chicago and the Dallas show right now. St. Louis is trying to creep up, but it's going to be a long road ahead in that Central Division. Those top 3 teams in the Western Conference, they're all in the Central. So I'm looking for some pretty big moves here in the trade deadline, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see. And we've already had our first big trade of this season's trade deadline season with Phaneuf going to Ottawa, and I think Ottawa won big on this one, and so did Toronto, shedding all the cap money that they've that they acquired in their, idiotic plan of a few years ago of trying to sign, everybody to ridiculous contracts and, hopefully that they'd perform and get to the playoffs, which hasn't really worked out for them. But they have a plan, and I think we might be seeing Steven Stamkos make a trip north of the border here pretty soon, Jay.
I like that. They're idiotic move. I want to thank you, Izzo, for coming on here tonight. Always a pleasure. Always get to get educated every week, and glad we got you here. I'm looking forward to having you back on next week, and I'll definitely be getting up with you sometime this week, as we got some catching up to do, and in reference to what Shorty's been having for like the last 2 months, I want to get you finish getting you all the way caught up to where we need to be. So I'll definitely be in touch with you throughout this week. But looking forward to having you back on next Tuesday. You enjoy the rest of your night, and I'm sure we'll be doing the same thing here in a little bit. And you have a good one.
Yeah, you too, Jay. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Oh, I tell you what, another great night here at the 110 Nation Studios is Mason Mitchell from Mason Mitchell Motorsports, Jay Jr. from Lear Motorsports and Rev Racing, and then, of course, Izzo, our NHL expert here at the 110 Nation, all stopping by the studio. I'm glad to see that happen, and always makes for a fun, great night. Don't forget, tomorrow we got, I hit the wrong name, Cole Powell of Mason Mitchell Motorsports joining us. He will be stopping in. I want to make sure I have the right time. We have him on 9:30 tomorrow night, and then we have Dylan Limpton joining us at 10 o'clock. So make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow night. Don't forget, Monday we got Tim Lathan, the creator of the Seek to Destroy Cancer wrestling thing that they have going on here March 19th in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Looking forward to having him and his wrestling buddies as some of the wrestlers, some of the stars will be on our show Monday night. So looking forward to having him. And I think we're going to have the return of Rashad Mitchell later on this week as well. I know that he's reached out to me, and I need to get back to him. He reached out to me while I was at work. So we got a handful of people that we're looking forward to coming on the show here in the next week or so. So looking forward to that. Don't forget, you can check me out on Twitter at CJSports1. You can check out the 110 Nation at 110 Nation. Check us out on Facebook, my personal fan page, Mr. CJ Sports, the 110 Nation personal. The 110 fan page, 110 Nation Sports. You can check out our blog site, www.110nationsports.com. You can check out our company site, www.110nation.com. I want to make sure that I shout out to More Than Just Me. You can check them out at mtjn.org. Can't visit them tonight. They're doing some maintenance on the site, and it's down right now. But we're definitely on board to help sponsor the More Than Just Miles event that they have April 16th that helps raise money for cystic fibrosis. And then, like I said, we're one of the sponsors for the Seek to Destroy Cancer event March 19, 2016. But make sure you guys check out both of those foundations. They are very important foundations to us. Yeah, I believe so. Don't forget, like I said, tomorrow night we got Cole Powell and Dylan Lupton joining us. Looking forward to having both those great, young, talented athletes on the show. Very excited about the opportunity. Tomorrow morning, the 110 Nation Morning Show. Make sure you guys tune in.
Thanks for listening to the 110 Nation Sports Show with Mr. CJ Sports. You are a part of the 110 Nation, so be sure to visit the110nation.com for everything related to the show. You can follow CJ on Twitter at 110Nation and on Facebook at 110Nation Sports. Until next time.
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Earlier this week, Claire Tippins shared a princess nickname generator, 3 pictures of her dog wearing a tutu, and 2 online quizzes, including what candy is your dream castle made of? Claire, your sharing has tipped the sugar scale and turned into oversharing. But have no fear, princess. Geico has something worth sharing with your internet kingdom, like how you could save hundreds on your car insurance just by visiting geico.com. No magic wand required. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.